Hello. The calculation for gravitational energy have already been done. Now it's time for the rest of the theory. Let me introduce you to quantum gravity, or rather the connection between quantum gravity and dark energy. We are at point 2, here. The figure shows schematically that dark energy is associated with some astronomical object. There is a relation between gravitational energy and quantum gravity. I will explain this. Why do astronomical objects absorb energy from space? What happens to this energy? Does it disappear? What happens to this energy? As a reminder, you remember, dark energy flows into an object. The object absorbs gravitational energy. Dark energy levels are decreasing. Near the object, energy tends to balance. Energy begins to flow from nearby space. Yes, we remember the hypothesis. That's what we are talking about. Gravitational energy is absorbed by an object, a massive object, an astronomical object. The energy is absorbed by some physical process. We can already guess what it is. Quantum physics, quantum gravity. The hydrogen atom is shown schematically. This is the simplest model of the atom. Particles inside an atom, a neutron, a proton, and orbiting electron. I demonstrate the simplest model of the atom. However, this applies to all types of atoms, regardless of the number of protons or neutrons in the nucleus. The number of electrons will also be greater. To simplify, I showed the simplest model of the atom, to better understand this phenomenon. But we should know that this applies to all atoms. Electron in orbit. An electron is an electric charge. Yes, this is the orbiting charge. Electron moves very fast. It is an electric current that creates a magnetic field. All electrons generate their own magnetic field. There are many atoms in each mass, a great number of atoms, billions of billions. All generated fields are set at different angles. The value of these magnetic fields cancelling each other out. But all the fields still exist. Moving electrons constantly change angles relative to each other.
Ale to pole nadal istnieje, jest wytwarzane, tak? Jest generowane niejako przez poruszające się elektrony. I te elektrony, niezależnie na których orbitach, w których atomach każdy elektron się porusza, każdy wytwarza swoje własne niejako pole magnetyczne.
To better understanding, we will start with simple things. Simple, or even very simple for physicists and electronics engineers. The magnetic field of a coil, ordinary coil. A coil is nothing more than a wound wire, several turns of wire.
Zwykłą cewkę, zwykły nawinięty drut.
If an electric current flows through a coil, a magnetic field is created. An electric current, it is many electrons.
Płynące niejako elektrony w przewodzie czy w drucie i wytwarzają one pole magnetyczne.
We will simplify the ordinary coil to its simplest form. It is a single turn of wire, a single coil.
Ceweczka składająca się z jednego tylko zwoju nawiniętego drutu.
This coil also produces a magnetic field. Magnetic field is smaller but still exists.
ale będzie.
What is the correlation between a coil and a hydrogen atom? In the case of a coil, electric current flows. An electric current is a great number of moving electrons. Electron times n, where n is the number of electrons.
Gdzie n stanowi liczbę elektronów.
Hydrogen atom have only one electron. An electric current is just one moving electron, a single electric charge. There is no electric wire, but electron moves in a circular orbit.
Jeden ładunek. No nie ma też drutu.
The shape of the orbit is approximately circular.
Porusza się po mniej więcej.
When current flows, a magnetic field is generated. This has already been discussed.
Jednego elektronu, jednego ładunku elementarnego.
Atoms produce magnetic fields. For a coil and for an atom, there is a magnetic field.
Atom wodoru i każdy inny atom, w którym poruszają się elektrony, także wytwarza pole magnetyczne.
For both examples, there is a magnetic field. A simple coil and atom. There is a correlation. The coil loses energy and the atom loses energy.
Na podstawie tej korelacji, że zarówno jeden element wytwarza pole magnetyczne, jak i drugi element wytwarza pole magnetyczne,
I will try to show the connection between magnetic field, energy and quantum gravity. What does this have to do with gravitational energy?
Grawitacją kwantową. Co to ma wspólnego z energią grawitacyjną?
We will calculate the magnetic field produced by an orbiting electron. We need physical constants. Don't be afraid of these formulas here.
Stałe fizyczne. No nie przestraszcie się tych wzorów tutaj pokazanych.
All the equations are from the book. I don't remember them either. I copied it from a physics book and showed it here. Physical constants are needed to calculate the magnetic field.
Aby obliczyć pole magnetyczne. A zatem
first, the electron charge, the elementary electron charge.
Będzie nam potrzebny.
Then the mass of the electron, speed of light, magnetic permeability of the vacuum, vacuum permittivity, Planck's constant, reduced Planck constant. All physical parameters shown are required to determine the magnetic field. Electron parameters, that's what I called them. N, it is the orbit number. In the case of a hydrogen atom, this is 1. It will be different for other atoms. There may be more orbits here. We are examining the simplest case. N is equal to 1. Next, the velocity of the electron in orbit. Here is the formula of velocity. It seems very complicated, but it is not. This formula consists of the physical constants that were shown in the previous slide. Yes, the physical constants were used right here. We calculate for the first orbit. This is the value of the electron's velocity in the orbit. Radius of the electron orbit. As before, the equation consists of physical constants. They were shown earlier. The radius value has been calculated. Time. The time it takes for an electron to complete one orbit. This is the period. A simple equation. The calculated parameter values allow us to calculate the value of the generated magnetic field. Electromagnetic parameters of the electron. That's what I called it. An alternative name is a quantum coil. We will calculate the electric current. The current produced by an orbiting electron. More precisely, it is the charge of the one electron divided by the period.
Pole
Next,
powierzchni przekroju
the
atomu
cross-sectional area of the
wodorostany.
atom.
Promień.
The radius
Promień
is known.
znany, wcześniej był
The radius
określony.
was calculated earlier.
Pole powierzchni
The
A
surface
tutaj
area
nazwane
is
A
labeled
stała A.
A.
Czasami jest tak w książkach
The surface
nazywane,
area
no też
is
tak
pi
oznaczone
times
A.
r squared. The
A
surface
tak naprawdę
area
jest to
of a
pole
circle.
powierzchni. Pi r kwadrat. Pole powierzchni koła, tak? I
We
jeszcze
will
jedna
need
wartość
one more
będzie
parameter,
potrzebna, czyli wartość
the value
indukcji
of the magnetic
pola
field
magnetycznego
induction.
w środku kołowej
This is
pętli
the
od momentu
magnetic
P
field induction
z prądem
in the
o
center
napędzie
of a
na I.
circular loop of radius r.
I wartość
A
indukcji
current of
pola
intensity
magnetycznego
I flows here. The value of
jest
magnetic
określona
field
tak
induction
uzornie.
is defined by
Mi0
this formula.
było wcześniej
Yes.
pokazane w stałym.
Mi0 was shown
Prąd
earlier.
obliczyliśmy wtedy.
This is a physical constant.
Podzielić
The
to na
value
2 razy
of the
R.
current
Promień
has
dobrze
already
jest
been
znany, czyli
calculated.
wartość indukcji
The value
dookoła
of the magnetic
możemy
field
obliczyć.
induction is also calculated.
I to są
These are
wszystkie
all the
parametry,
necessary parameters.
wszystkie zmienne
These are
fizyczne,
all the
są
physical
potrzebne,
variables
aby wyznaczyć,
that are needed to determine the
jakie
energy
cechy
of a
kwantowe.
quantum coil.
Co
What
to
is a
jest
quantum
cecha
coil?
kwantowa?
The
Równanie
equation for the
energii
energy of a
cewki
quantum coil is the same
wziąłem,
as that for a
zrównałem
regular coil.
zwykłą cewkę. Tylko
However,
zamiast
instead
n
of a large number
zwojów,
of
czyli
turns, there is only
10
one
czy
turn.
20 zwojów,
For
to
example,
jest jeden
a regular
zwój,
coil might have
n
10
równa się
or
1.
20
I
turns.
to równanie,
The equation for a quantum coil has only one turn.
tylko że
N
ja
equals
użyłem
1.
to równanie
The coil
cewki
equation was
dla
used
cewki.
for the hydrogen atom.
Użyłem
For an electron
dla
in an orbital
atomu
of an
wodoru,
hydrogen
raczej
atom.
dla elektronu orbitującego na orbicie atomu wodoru, czyli dla takiej wirtualnej cewki.
So this is an equation for an atomic-sized coil,
Rozmiarów.
a very small
Nie
coil.
pokażę, jak mały
I won't show
się nie
the
da.
atomic size because it's
Atomowe
impossible to do.
kwantowe
Quantum
rozmiary,
sizes, quantum
kwantowe
values.
wartości.
A
Cewka
quantum coil is
kwantowa
not
jest
macroscopic.
nie
It has
analogowa,
atomic size.
zwykła, duża, tylko kwantowa cewka.
A
Podobna
quantum
do tej
coil is,
dużej
after all,
z rzeczywistego
similar to an
świata.
ordinary coil.
I
In
tu-
both
tu
cases,
mamy
there are similar physical
tutaj,
parameters.
i tutaj mamy
For
ładunek.
example,
I tutaj jest
electric
pętla.
current, electric
Tutaj są
charge,
zwoje, czyli
rotational motion,
i w jednym i w
magnetic
drugim
field
przypadku
induction, surface area of a
indukcja
cycle.
pola magnetycznego, pole powierzchni. A zatem
In both cases, there is a
jednym
magnetic
i w
field.
drugim przypadku
If there is a
mamy
magnetic field,
pole
there
magnetyczne,
is also energy
to
in
mamy
this
też
magnetic field.
energię
For both coils,
tego pola
energy is
magnetycznego.
dissipated
W
in
jednym
the form of a
i w
magnetic
drugim
field.
przypadku
Coils were
chociaż
discovered about 200,
cewki zostały
maybe
odkryte
300
jakieś
years
200,
ago.
może
The
300
quantum
lat
coil,
temu.
on the other hand, is rather novelty.
Cewka kwantowa to raczej
After all, the quantum
nowinka.
coil is more fundamental,
To jednak
is based
ta
on
cewka
more
kwantowa
fundamental
jest
physical
bardziej
phenomenon,
pierwotna
a more primordial
od
law.
cewki. Jest
It's
bardziej
at a
podstawowa,
lower
jest
level. It's
na
low
niższym
level.
poziomie, jest
It's quantum,
niskopoziomowa,
elementary.
kwantowa,
A quantum
jest
coil,
taka
it uses the
podstawowa.
quantum parameters of
Nie chcę mówić,
atoms.
że ważniejsza, ale jakby
Despite
tutaj
that, the equation of the
bardziej
energy
u
field of a
podstaw
quantum coil
fizyki
is very,
niż
very
zwykła
similar
cewka.
to the equation of the energy field
I z tego
of an
powodu
ordinary
jestem
coil.
korzystać
It is
się
now
obliczyć
possible
tą
to calculate the energy of the
energię
magnetic
pola
field
magnetycznego.
energy
A
of a
nazwano
quantum
to
coil.
energię
I call
cewki
it
kwantowej.
quantum coil energy. Yes,
O
it's
to
about
chodzi.
being able to measure quantum energy. The energy absorbed by an astronomical object. Any object. Astronomical object.
Obiekt
Planet,
astronomiczny.
moon,
Planeta,
sun,
księżyc,
star,
słońce,
black hole.
gwiazda.
Any astronomical
Być
object
może
has
też
atoms.
Jakiś dowolny obiekt astronomiczny posiada atomy. Nie
Not
tylko
only
atomy wodoru,
hydrogen
różne
atoms,
atomy.
but various atoms.
Różne.
Atoms with different amounts of neutrons, protons, and electrons in orbit.
Elektronów na orbitach.
Each
Każdy
of
z
these
tych elektronów
electrons
się porusza.
moves.
Każdy
It has
jest
an
atomu
electric
pole
charge.
magnetyczne.
It
Każdy
creates a
wytwarza
magnetic
pole
field.
magnetyczne.
The
Wartość
value
tego
of this
pola
magnetic field is the energy of the field.
niesie ze sobą energię.
This energy can be calculated.
No, ale
However,
gdybyśmy mieli tak
the calculations for all the atoms would be
to
expensive.
niezmiernie dużo i
This
chyba
is probably
może
impossible to calculate.
liczenia.
However,
Tutaj
the idea
liczy
is
się
important.
idea, tak?
The physical
Że
process
jest
is important.
wytwarzane pole, które niesie
The
ze sobą
generated
energię,
magnetic
czyli
field
jest
is a form of energy. In
wytwarzana
other words,
energia,
energy is produced in atoms.
przekazywana energia.
Or maybe it's better to say that energy is taken in,
Energia,
and rather the later sentence is right and true.
ciemna energia,
Gravitational energy or dark energy is consumed. Energy is taken up by orbiting electrons in atomic orbits. The orbiting electrons generate a magnetic field.
czyli
The generated magnetic field has the energy of the magnetic field.
druga postać, czyli
Energy transfer,
grawitacyjna,
dark energy,
dalej jest
gravitational
transferowana
energy, magnetic induction in atoms,
i
energy of magnetic field of a
przez
quantum
elektrony.
coil.
I wytwarzane jest pole magnetyczne, czyli energia pola magnetycznego.
A star, of course, works similarly.
Także
Probably a black hole
może
too,
nawet czarna dziura.
but nobody
Nikt
knows
nie wie, co
what
jest
is
w jej
inside a
wnętrzu
black
i
hole.
czy są tam elektrony.
Are the electrons there?
Jeśli nie ma, to
If
trudno.
there are no
Wtedy
electrons,
czarne
too
dziury
bad.
nie zaliczają się do tego
The black
grono.
holes do not
A
belong
być
to
może
this group.
są elektrony
Perhaps
na
there are
orbitach.
electrons in the orbit
Wtedy jak
there.
najbardziej
Then
będzie to
it will be
poprawne.
correct. The galaxy is made up of
Składa
planets,
się z
stars,
planet,
and black holes.
gwiazd,
So this problem affects the entire galaxy.
również ta sprawa dotyczy galaktyki.
The galaxy absorbs dark energy and transforms it
Pochłania ciemną
into magnetic
energię,
field energy.
transformując na
One form
pola
of energy
magnetyczne
is
wytwarzane
transformed
przez
into
elektrony
another form.
orbitujące.
If this is the case, then dark energy is coming from space.
To ta energia, ciemna energia napływa z przestrzeni dookoła.
If dark energy is flowing in, it prevents the galaxy from breaking up.
Galaktyki
The galaxy will maintain its integrity.
nie pozwala,
The rotation galaxy will not break apart.
czyli odpowiada za
The galaxy will
integralność
maintain
galaktyki,
its
za jej
integrity.
spójność. Czyli
Dark
nie
matter
potrzeba
is unnecessary
ciemnej
in this
materii.
case. Dark matter is
Zamiast
not
ciemnej
needed to
materii
keep the galaxy in one
można
piece.
w
Dark
cudzysłowie
energy is
można
enough
użyć
for the
ciemnej
galaxy to
energii.
survive.
Wystarczy
Dark energy is responsible for the transformation of energy
ciemną
forms.
energię, potem
One
energię
form of energy
grawitacyjną,
interpenetrates with another form of energy.
transformowana
The second form transforms into a
przez
third
elektrony
form.
do
Transformation
pól
scheme,
magnetycznych.
dark energy,
Zużywana.
gravitational energy,
Wystarczy
magnetic
to
induction in
zjawisko,
atoms,
aby
energy of magnetic field of a quantum
utrzymać
coil,
integralność
inflow
galaktyki.
of dark energy from
Ta
space
stabilność
towards
galaktyki,
an object,
niejako tutaj
creation
ciemna
of the effect
energia
of gravitational
zastępuje
attraction,
ciemną materię.
gravity,
Trzyma to
galactic
wszystko
integrity.
w ryzach.
The influx of
Pozwala
dark
rozpaść
energy
się
prevents the disintegration of the galaxy. No dark matter. It's simply unnecessary. Multiphase dark energy. The second point, quantum gravity, has been discussed. There are two more points left. Redshift. Actually, one point left. Yes, the integrity of the galaxy has already been explained automatically. Here, I have shown 4 points for formality, to make it easier to understand.
żeby to było łatwiejsze do ogarnięcia.
That is all the information
Tyle na
today.
dzisiaj.
In the next episode, I will present the phenomenon of redshift.
I
Why is dark energy responsible for the redshift effect? It is not the Doppler effect, it is dark energy. You absolutely must watch the next episode. I invite you. Bye!
Na razie. Cześć.